is who I am. This is what I do. This is who I am. I'm the living proof. This is who I am. This is what I do. This is who I am. Who the fuck are you?
Hey guys, and welcome back to EAF, Entrepreneurial AF. I am Deanna Kozak, also known as Joel's sister. I was kind of hoping that Joel put Deanna's brother.
I was just going to say, over the weekend, Chris Roach killed it in Royersford at our comedy show. And he came on stage because he said my name wrong after going Kevin Kuwait with Kevin James. He said, please welcome, give it up for my good friend Josh. And no one got the joke. I'm like, I'm Joel, by the way. And then he goes, keep it going for Deanna's brother. I'm like,
I'm really hoping that Deanna's brother catches on. But we are here as Joel's sister and Joel Richardson, I guess, owner of SoulJoel's Comedy Club and Lounge. I am in real estate in South Jersey. Joel and I coincidentally have both been self-employed for 11 years. And we decided to jump on here wherever you get your podcast, iTunes. Check us out on Facebook. We're streaming from SoulJoel's Comedy Club and Lounge. Check out SoulJoel TV on Facebook and SoulJoel TV on YouTube. We decided to start this podcast for people that are self-employed. Maybe you're self-employed now. Maybe you want to be self-employed in the future. Maybe you just want to live your best life. We are jumping on here every week, and we are going to give tips for entrepreneurs surviving and thriving, just to kind of give you an insight to what our journey's been like. And then every week we bring on a guest that will help you out along the way as well. I think it's really important to hear these stories and hear what people are doing, and, don't reinvent the wheel. Learn from what others have done before you. I think that's really important. And today we are going to talk about a topic that's extremely relevant to our guest, which is know your audience, which I think is, when you're marketing yourself and branding yourself, it's 101. Like, you can have the best product, whether it be, a physical product or entertainment, Joel, like a show that you bring to people, whatever the case may be. I think it's important to know, like, okay, here's a problem. Like, your problem was entertainment. Everybody always had to go to the suburbs. To the city.
Yep.
To see the big names. And sometimes it wasn't always feasible for people to get to New York City or Philadelphia or the closest, biggest city to them. So you said, you know what? You found out real early on, I'm going to bring the show to them. So you bring New York City level comedy and even fly-in comics from LA frequently, and you bring it to them. So then your job is to figure out who's my audience for that? Who am I targeting?
That's been our business model for the last, over 10 years. Just bringing the comedy show to people, and also fundraising. People get sick of beef and beers. Just giving money for a donation. They actually, come enjoy a night of laughter, and then their money goes to a good cause.
So you're targeting people that need to raise money as well, like going out and finding those charities. So it's like, it's knowing what your product is, whatever that may be. Like if it's a beauty product, okay, I have this face cream, a wrinkle cream. Obviously, you're not going to target 16, 17, 18-year-olds, girls in their mid, early 20s with a wrinkle cream. It's going to be more mature audience. So like knowing what your product is, whether it's physical or entertainment, and then properly marketing that product to those people.
Yeah, and a lot of the comics that we work with, they have all their podcasts. It's their niche market for sharing their voice and knowing who their audience is.
Well, and I think that's a good point that you just made, is that you actually book certain comedians certain weekends. Like if you have a guy who's, say, locally from this area, you might book him right before Thanksgiving because all his boys are going to be in the area coming home, like Joe DeRosa.
Yep.
You book him right before a holiday because he'll bring his whole fan base because people are home for the holidays. That's, again, knowing your audience. It's not, people kind of think it's like it's random, but it's not. Everything, like when you see an ad.
Uh-oh. She's back.
Woo! I can't believe I
All right.
disappeared.
All
But I
right.
think, our guest today is absolutely no stranger to knowing your audience, how to get in front of them. He's been, self-employed full-time with what he's doing for the past 5 years. And I think he's going to really give us some insight into what that, I kind of want to talk to him about his journey a little bit, his ups and his downs, but I also want to hear what he has to say without giving away too many of his trade secrets. Because that's why people are going to come to him. But if you want to bring out our guest for today.
Yeah, a very good friend of mine, Luke Eccles, please. Give it up for Luke.
What's going on?
Did I just butcher your last name, buddy?
Luke Eccles.
I was going to say Eccles. When you said, I was like, what the hell, Joel?
Yeah.
I've heard it. I've heard it all.
Oh boy, buddy.
Yeah, when you said that, I'm like, maybe I'm missing something in the grammar department, but that is.
It's all right. It's all right.
But I love over the last couple of months during this whole quarantine how you really hit it harder. Some people we've noticed have disappeared and they've taken away their online presence, but you actually went harder and started getting all the followers on Instagram, on YouTube.
Yeah,
you completely increased your fan base.
Yeah. I mean, it's, if I could say there's one thing about this quarantine, is it literally was I told you so moment for me to, like, not necessarily my clients because they believed me and they hired me, but to those people that were like not taking their online presence serious, like this whole quarantine, like you went from like this changed our culture in a day. Like we're going to be looking back at this historically, like from like in so many different ways, but as a society on how we function, you had so many people that were kind of like, I'm not into the online thing. You had these old school guys, these business owners. I'm not into that email shit, like blah, 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 and now it's like, you're dead in the water. Like
right.
The people that were like hands-on, they were online, they're making videos, they're communicating with their clients in the digital age. Like they were just like, oh man, like I'm glad we have this. But the people that didn't, like, are the people that were like thinking about it or like working on it. They're like everybody else, like the people that were on it were 5 years ahead of them.
Well, that's what Joel and I talked about that like no matter what from now on, like even Joel, like his is brick and mortar, but he knows that like something like this, maybe not a pandemic, but like it's so important to give because that's not going away.
Right.
Like that online presence, like whether you have a boutique, whether you, whatever the case may be, you have to maintain. And you've known this all along. I mean, I'm sure I'm preaching to the choir here. Like, you know that. So tell us, what is your company? Where can people find you? Just give yourself like a little intro plug.
Red Bearded Marketing. If you don't know where I got the name from, just message me. I can explain it. So we're predominantly website design, search engine optimization, social media marketing is how I started my company. I was working for an international web hosting company selling do-it-yourself sites, and kind of like was looking for that next opportunity. And I was kind of just like receptive, like, hey, like I'm sick of working for somebody that's looking over my shoulder. Just keeping my eyes open for that opportunity. And I started having a couple clients because it was like 2000. I started working for that company like what was it, like 2013, and by 2014 I was like, all right, like I need to find something. And I was just keeping my eyes open, and a bunch of my clients started saying like, hey, like I know this person, this other Allstate agent that is running their Facebook page, and they're getting phone calls from it, and they're getting business. Like, could you do that for me? And the first couple people were like pain in the ass clients that I had, and I was like, "There's no way I'm doing that. Like, no, like no. I gotta
not
call
today. Not today.
Yeah, I need to call them and tell them to take a picture of this or do like, nah, they're paying already. But then some of my really good clients were like, "Hey, like, could you handle this for me?" And I was just like, yeah, Susan's a great client. That'd be really fun, like, so and the funny thing is, like, when you're a business owner for the first time, especially in my industry, because the pricing's like all over the place.
You can get somebody who charges like 500 and then someone who charges like 5,000, and you're like,
yeah,
where's the disconnect?
Right. A lot of times, like, you definitely get what you pay for. Like, especially when it's like, oh no, this guy's gonna do it for 500. Like, talk to you in 2 months.
Right. Right.
Talk to you in 2 months when the site's still not up and like it doesn't look anything like what you want.
Or they're overseas and your whole entire bank account's drained.
Yeah. I haven't heard that story, but the overseas thing is just, there's so much of a language barrier.
Right.
And I know that because I've tried some of the guys, and it's just like, I can only give guys like that, like, it's very specific instructions, and it's like hand holding to the point where it's like, it's got to be so basic that if it's more than that, it's not worth your time. But anyway, yeah, I got into it because I had my clients asking me to do social media marketing for them. And it was 2014. It was like right when it was popping. And again, I was still getting that whole thing, like with the old school guys, like, nah, like, we don't do that email, thing. Like, we're not really, like, we're established. We're word of mouth here. We don't really need that. And like, now it's like those guys that held on to that, like, and this is going to kind of transition to what's going on right now, that held on to, this is what we do. This is how we've always done it. We've been here for 25, 35 years. They're hurting right now. Sometimes they have their head just buried in the sand, and they don't want to realize why they're hurting is the online thing. It's just business is down, the economy, we don't know what's going on. And it's literally, it's the fact that they didn't dip their toe into the digital pool at all. And some of them have no clue why, and that's really, I think that really, like, says a lot about what's going on right now. Is it's just like, if you weren't ready in any way for this, like, you're kind of caught with your pants down.
And I like the credibility that you bring to the table. Like, we've had countless people that have always reached out to us, and they talk about everything that you're doing and how they can help. And then you go on their page and they have 300 likes or 400 likes, 200 likes, and you're like, if you're trying to help us, why are you not helping yourself? Like, you have to build up your company, and you're coming to the table with 12,000 likes on Facebook and 500 YouTube followers. So you come with credibility, and I like that.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah. I mean, it's, and you know what it is? It's I think one of the things, that I really try to push with my customers, and I think this is on all the questions, that you gave me, is just like, and this is going to be my motto is be yourself. Like, I'm always telling my clients, especially when it comes to your brand, the content you're putting out online, the videos, like, be authentic. People, like, if they don't know it's bullshit, they sense it's bullshit.
I think that's so important. That's interesting that you say that, because I don't think we've had anybody say that yet. And people know, I think, kind of when it's forced, and not everybody's going to like you.
Right.
And that's why what Joel and I said in the beginning, like, yeah, knowing your audience, and because your audience is going to come to you because you're you. I don't know how else to put that. It sounds kind of redundant, but that's why they come to you, Luke. That's why they come to, I always tell Joel, like, he was really nervous because he used to do shows at the Valley Forge Casino, and he was super nervous about leaving that venue.
Right.
Because he had built those shows up to, like, such a point that he's like, oh my God, Deanna, like, I got to find a new venue. Like, I can't be there anymore. It's just a very negative environment. And I told him, I said, Joel, people come to those shows because of you.
Yeah.
They could care less if it's the Valley Forge Casino, the dumpster in the back of a restaurant. Like,
all right, take it easy.
You know what I mean? Like, they come to the shows because it's a SoulJoel production. And he proved that, because, I mean, I was hoping I was right. I was pretty sure I was right. But then he opened up SoulJoel's Comedy Club and Lounge in Royersford, and started, in November, was open for like 3 or 4 months before this happened, unfortunately, but was killing it.
He's causing a ruckus over there. I kept hearing about it from everybody.
I know. But they came, you're right, because he's Joel, because that people like him. And I think that's an awesome tagline.
Well,
Just
yeah.
be authentically you.
And Luke, I was going to say it's the same thing with you. Like you embraced who you are. You love the beard, and it's red bearded marketing. It's like you're not trying to be anybody else. You're like, and then people, it's a catchphrase, so people remember the name of your company because it's who you are.
No one forgets the beard.
Are you never going to shave the beard, I guess?
I mean, I've had something of a beard for like 2 decades now almost. So like, I'm lucky that it's gotten you take
care of it. I can tell you. Yeah,
yeah.
you take really good care of it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's my brand. So, I mean,
yeah, you can't lose it.
Beard oil and beard brushes are a write-off for my taxes. So
yeah, red bearded marketing. I mean, how can the IRS deny that one?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
exactly. And you were telling me over the last couple of months, you've actually become busier now than ever. So is it because a lot of those people turned the corner and saw the need for what you're doing?
So I think one of the points that I forgot when I was talking earlier is, as a business owner, it's all about embracing evolution of business. It's all about embracing change. Those that kind of with that, it's all about looking for that opportunity, looking for that evolution. And that's where business owners get really caught, is where they just get stagnant and they get comfortable. For me, and this is very much a universal thing for any industry, like what I do now today could affect getting a new client by Friday, or that client could be by the end of the month, or it could be 4 months from now, or it could be 2 years from now. So it's just a number. Everything's just like with business, and it's a numbers game of reaching people and just doing what you're supposed to do, and like doing the right thing is always going to be the right thing. Like, it might not make you a lot of money because you could kind of be like a little like shady about things and how you do things, and you might make a quick buck, but like it's going to bite you
long term.
Yeah, like, dude, long term. And that's the thing I tell people all the time now is like, eat patience. Like, because I'll have people that are like in their 20s and they're like, man, like, you work from home and you just make your own schedule. Like, you're lucky. I'm like, there's a small
mistake. There is no luck.
Small amount of luck, and but that really just comes down to being ready for opportunity, and that's what this right now is. It sucked for a lot of people. Some businesses weren't able to open until like just this last week,
right?
But the thing is, like, if you look at some of the businesses, like let's take Three Brothers for example. That's 400 feet from my house. Shout out to Three Brothers.
Now, what is Three Brothers?
Like, amazing Mexican food. They have one in Pottstown. They have one in. They're just opening one in Lansdale. They have one in Collegeville. Like, this guy's like, the owner's name is Aeneas. He's like working his ass off. Really young guy, just really good guy. Really part of the community. But I'm
familiar with their work.
Yeah, so like he he got more involved with his social media and posting on social media. But he's been working at it. Like, he was he's got his audience. Like, that's the one thing is I've seen the people that were really working hard and were doing what they were supposed to be doing before this. Like, yeah, it was a little bit of a hiccup in March and maybe April. But now, like, especially like contractors and stuff like that, like, they're just crazy busy. Like, the restaurants are in a bad spot right now. Like, I mean, it's just, but you got to figure that shit out. Like,
Anna Marie's in Royersford. She started doing, she's mainly breakfast, but she started doing like breakfast for dinner on Fridays and Saturdays. I mean, she had to, because probably not enough people were ordering breakfast to go takeout. So she's like, what do I have to do? Instead of saying, all right, there we go. Pack it up, pack it in.
You have to adapt as a business owner. It's a boxing match. It's learn where to take the punches and learn where to jab.
Yeah.
And like, if you know anything about boxing, I don't know that much about boxing, but what I do know, it's a very high endurance sport.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you need to be able to last however many rounds fighting, and like, it's exhausting.
It's 9.
Yeah. So, I mean, you know way more than I do. Like, but I mean, it's a long game. like especially when it's like a high like physical output. It's the same thing with business. Like everything's a long game. Like if you're expecting for your business to be like making 6 figures in a year, like wake up. Like it's a long game. Like that's like you can win the lottery. Like it's like the same chances of like all these people that think like their videos are going to go viral. Like I told my little nephew, he said he was doing a YouTube channel. He's like, yeah, we have this many followers and we're trying. I was like, dude, just calm down. Stop looking at your followers. Like, just keep doing it. Like, don't even worry. Like, do you enjoy it? Is it something you like? Okay, then stop looking at the followers. Just do it.
That's funny because our the marketing guy, Joey, behind the scenes, we always like to give a little shout out to Joey St. John.
The man behind the curtain.
Yeah, the man behind the curtain. Joel kept looking at like the likes on the page, and Joey
throw me under the bus. I got it. Okay, good point, Luke. Good point.
Luke, if you've never listened to our podcast, I usually throw Joel under the bus, and then I usually run back and forth over him 4 to 5 times.
All right, continue.
Sibling love, got it.
Yeah. So Joey said, like, Joel, stop looking at the followers. Let's just focus on putting out quality content.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's what it's about. Like it's about putting out consistent. That's one of Joey's like favorite taglines. Like I think his tagline is probably be consistent. Like, and he loves quality over quantity. And it's just, that's like his thing. So with that, like how do you get out in front of like your audience, like to, market yourself? Like who is your audience? And then how do you do the same thing in turn for your clients, like without, giving away too much about what you do? Because obviously that's why you want people to come to you.
I always give away what I do.
Yeah. Give it, because they can't do what you do. Right.
Right.
Yeah.
I want them to understand what I do. But, I mean, it's never one thing in business that brings in more business. Like I've been in a BNI chapter for 6 years now.
Okay. So networking.
So like you're talking about, and not just networking, building relationships.
Joel's favorite.
Because you can network as much as you want. Here's my business card. Here's my business card. Here's my business card. How many business cards do you have sitting like in that pile that you don't touch on your desk or like dresser? Like it's relationships. And that's really what goes back to the whole thing about like being authentic and being like, and just being true and like doing the right thing, because like it's a long game. Like you build those relationships and you just do the right thing. You keep learning your craft. You keep refining your craft. But I also do search engine optimization. So I know what I'm doing for making my website pop up. It's really just like, getting out there. I mean, moving to Phoenixville was a game changer for me in the last year. I used to live in Berks County, and there's like nothing going on out there. So again, and that goes back to like knowing your audience. Like I knew there aren't a lot of business owners out there. A lot of people are old school. I was constantly coming down this way. So my dad said, you don't go looking for Jewish people in a Catholic cathedral. You don't go looking for Jewish people in a synagogue. Like know your audience, like know where to find them. Like, it's like, and don't like, my dad's really learning this because he does business coaching, is like not every client is the client for you. Now, when you're starting out, like you take whatever you can to kind of, it's a learning process, and you learn those red flags. You learn like what not to do, what to do. But like sometimes a client isn't a good fit for you. Like,
I think that's so important. I'm so glad that you brought that up, because I've let clients go, and Joel has, severed relationships before, because you're pouring all this time and energy into something that's just not going to make you money, and it's not going to make them money. So like you're wasting both of your times.
It's usually the ones that are like, what's the smallest amount I can, what's the least I can do? What's the bottom line for a budget? Like
bottom of the barrel.
They're the ones, and like figure out what your time is worth. Like that's how, like I got really lucky a year into this. I sat down with a guy that owned a website design company, and they weren't doing any website design projects that were under 10 grand.
Wow.
So like, yeah, like it was like, they were just like, anything under that's like just too much of a waste of time for us. Like, we'd gladly send you, guys that need something smaller.
Well,
and part of what he said to me, like after I had this horrible client, was like, well, what's your hourly, like, what are you worth an hour? And I was just like,
good question.
like a plumber has an hourly rate. Like when you start getting into like, like I'm in kind of like a digital trades.
It's $150 just for them to show up.
Yep.
Like that, they show up in their truck and they're like, that'll be $150. And I'm like, you didn't do anything yet. But there's a big
you can't
difference.
afford this beard.
Yeah, like I, paid somebody to paint, and like there's a big difference between somebody who just paints for like a hobby or somebody who like preps and spackles holes and like really does it right. Like if you put the two products next to each other, you can tell. Like in my industry, there's a lot of like .com real estate services, and what you get with them is nothing. Like you're basically selling your own house.
Right.
But that's the difference. Like if you want to pay less money and have it butchered with one of the biggest investments you'll ever make in your life, good luck.
Yeah, you've got to bring value to the table for your client. And I think a lot of that is making sure, and I've learned this the hard way, is like making sure like they know that, like, and that it's outlined in like my proposal, like, hey, like this is what I'm doing, especially because my industry has so many terms like SEO, social media marketing. Like sometimes like we get wrapped up in our industry and we're like, we don't realize they don't understand that. So like,
and some people do, but some people don't. And that's
right,
knowing who your client is. Yeah,
exactly. And that's fine. Like I'm more than willing to explain it. I'm really good at explaining those things, but outlining that in the proposal so that their expectations are at the right level. And that way you can over deliver on that expectation. So, but like make sure they know the expectations of what they're getting. And if you just over deliver a little bit, like, like just do the right thing. It's really
that's exactly what, I mean, Joel and I think both do that, but like, just, I know an example off the top of my head is, his tickets are $20 for a show. And one of the women were like, how does he bring the level of talent he does? Like they were expecting a comedy show. They were expecting to laugh. They laughed until their face hurt and got like a New York City, level show. And they were blown away because he over delivers every time.
Look, one of the things I wanted to say is that of the way that you also get in front of people is creative content. Not only because you said you live in Phoenixville and you're very passionate about it. Some of your clients are there. I learned obviously that the streets got blocked off through you posted one of the articles, and that's cool. Like it's helping the whole community, but also you posted about how a FedEx guy was taking his dogs around, and I mean you have dogs, so you're very passionate about that. But like you have a very innovative way to post stuff. You're not just posting and clicking and creating this content. You're actually like things that you're passionate about, and it comes through. I think. Through your social media.
He's not just promoting himself.
Yeah, I'm not hire me. I do this. Who wants to be sold?
Right.
Show me that I should hire you. Like don't.
Right.
Yeah. Tell me.
And I think that's one of the things, and this will be a good lesson for any entrepreneurs. Like, digital marketing is very counterintuitive to how traditional marketing has been done for the last like 70 years, 80 years, 90 years. Because before it was very much like you leave your private life out of it. This is your business life, and that's not what people want to see anymore. Like, and like you can bitch about that, or you can embrace it. Like, and I feel like that's something I do. I embrace it, and what it does is like I had somebody say, I said, let's do a video introduction on your website about what you do and who you are. And she goes, well, what if they don't like it? She's a, what is it, like a midwife? I forget, a doula.
A doula. Almost the same thing, but not really. Yeah.
Right. She's a doula. And she goes, well, and she can only take like 5 clients a month. Like, so
because if she can't have them all give birth at the same time.
Right. Yeah. So I said to her, I was like, listen, like, you should have a really nice introduction video on your website. and then you can use that for your social media and everything. Yeah. And she goes, well, like, what if they see the video and they don't like me right off the bat? And I'm like, perfect.
You don't want to work with them.
I said, perfect. Now you're not figuring out when to meet them and to go to their house and talk to them. And then you just wasted your travel time, your time, and you didn't know why they didn't hire you.
Being a doula is so personal. I mean, you're literally going to be sitting there as the woman's giving birth, all up in their stuff. Like, you want to like the doula. Like, the doula is going to see you at your lowest,
right?
Like, sweating and in pain. And I agree, Luke. Yeah. That's so smart. I mean, you're not even a female, and you get it. Like,
sometimes, yeah. I try.
I don't think we're giving birth anytime soon, but you know.
But it's one of those things. It's presenting yourself online so that when they see you, like when I go to meet with people, they're like, yeah, it looks just like, you look just like the video.
They know what they're getting.
Right. And it's like, my dad's a little bit more conservative than me. He's in like the Christian business coaching space. So like one day he said something like, you shouldn't curse in your videos. You said something, and I'm just going to challenge you on this. And I was like, Dad, I love you. And you're right. But he's like, Pete, you might not get these clients and they might get offended. I'm like, Dad, you told me before, where your audience, like if they're offended by me cursing in a video, like they're not going to like my sense of humor. They're not going to work well together. Yeah. Like they're not going to like the conversations they have with me because like, I'm not the church boy. Like I'm not the, I never was, even when I was at a Christian school. Like I was always that kid that liked to ruffle feathers, whether it was I'm not going into that. But,
Jeepers creepers with this language.
Yeah, exactly.
Did he ever give you that? There's a lot of other words in the dictionary you can use, Luke.
No. He was just like, all right, you're right.
You eventually find your tribe.
Right.
So with like social media and kind of playing off of what you just said, like I think that an important takeaway that people can take from marketing themselves is, especially with stories on Facebook and Instagram, it's like personal business, and with stories, I mean, you can literally throw as many as little clips in there or pictures or whatever as you want. And I feel like that's kind of like a sneak peek into people's lives, but you don't want it to be, even in your stories, business, like just hammering people. Like you want it to be more sprinkled in there, kind of clickbaiting that, not clickbaiting, but like, giving them little snippets to where they want to be your friend. They want to hang out with you. And then they see that this is what you do. And they're like, oh, well, I'd like to work with Deanna. That might be kind of fun.
I tell my clients, I call it my 80-20 principle.
Yep.
It's 80% of your content should fluff, like whatever you want to call it. And that's the hardest thing to get through some people's heads, because they're like, well, that doesn't have to do with my business. That doesn't have to do with my business. That like nobody wants to be sold to all the time. Like look at those Facebook pages where it's just like, hey, like we're selling this, coming for this. We do this. Like people just check out unless it's like a pet store, like you have certain industries where it's just like, you could post anything. It's gold, like.
Yeah. They're getting their pity likes, like 5 or less.
Right.
People they were going to like it anyway.
Yeah.
Right.
Apple doesn't need to do that anymore. They're good.
Right.
They're good.
Right. But so it's about, it's my 80-20 principle. It's 80% of the time you're just posting, like you got a dog in the office, gold. Like, sometimes people would resist me on it. And those like dog pictures in the office are like the biggest thing that gets their like
people love the crap out of animals. Like those animal people they're in it.
Like you got a funny video of like your kid falling down the stairs or something like that.
Exploit them.
Oh my God. My twins get more like messages and likes. And I'm like, I should just have them sell houses for me.
They got to pay the rent somehow.
Yeah, they can't even walk, but like we'll put them to work.
Do it.
Baby.
Put them to work.
Yeah.
Let's bring back some of that. Let's bring back some of that 1800s work ethics for children. Come on.
I have 4 kids. Isn't that why people had a lot of kids back in the day to work on the farm?
Yeah.
I don't have anymore. This is my farm.
She's got 4. Luke and I have 0.
Mine go in cages.
Don't borrow mine from time to time. And they're like, oh, you're such a good uncle. You're such a good uncle. I'm like, stop exploiting my children, Joel.
Oh,
so one
in conclusion.
Yeah. One of the first tip that I have on the 5 tips for successful
I was just going to go there
Yeah.
and ask you to give us your top 5.
Yeah, was stop mulling over it and do it. And like that's especially for content. Like I've had people where they're like, well, I'm gonna wait till I lose 5 pounds to do a video, or I'm like, shut up.
You're never going to lose the 5 pounds and do it.
Like just do it. Like or they'll be like, well, I want to put out I want to get a photographer and I want to get a video. Like I just want to do like, and like they're never gonna have the budget for that. Like sometimes, like, you know, like I had one lady called me and she's like, well, I want like a professional photo shoot for everything. Like I want you to come in and do like videos of everything. I want you to do all the content. I don't want like my budget's $150. And I'm like, go call a couple other people with that list and tell me what they quote you. Like, you know, like just do it. Like, don't wait for like, you know, like the longer you wait, the longer your competition is out in front of you. Like, just do it. Like, just make content, post it, and don't be afraid. And the next thing is like, don't get hung up on mistakes. And that's part of like the mulling over it and the content thing. Cause people will be like, well, this video wasn't that great, or I stuttered on this part, or I did whatever. Like,
you can always do something better. There's always going to be learn from it. Learn from the feedback that you get, learn from going back and looking at yourself, but done is better than nothing.
If you get in front of a camera and you talk and you do something online, like you're ahead of like 90% of the business owners out there. Just doing that, whether it's good or not, like just doing, like there's so many people that will talk about doing.
There's some people that don't want to like be on a podcast or something because they're scared to death to like talk in like a forum, and they're business owners.
Yep.
And I'm like, dude, if you can't come on a podcast and talk about your business, like you got a couple other things going on.
So yeah, like, and it's a fine balance of learning when to talk and when not to talk as well as a business owner. Because you don't want to be that guy that's just like nonstop, and you're not listening to what they're like, why they need to hire you, making that aware of the pain. Like, what's the reason they need to hire you, and explain to them why you're gonna fulfill that need. So that was number 2, is don't get hung up on mistakes. Number 3 is enjoy the journey. Don't wait to enjoy it at the accomplishment of it. Like,
that's a good one.
I like that. I don't think anybody said that so far.
If you're not happy during the process of your life and you're waiting for that picket fence, that giant car, like house, that Maserati in the driveway, like if you're not having fun to the process, you're going to get to that part and you're going to get there and you're just going to be like, what? Like, okay, I have this shit, but like, I didn't enjoy any part of getting to this. So that almost goes back to the, being yourself and being authentic. Like I listen to a lot of Gary V, and like, oh,
Joel knows I love Gary V. I send him Gary V clips all the time.
He said if there's one thing he could do that was an impossible thing, it would be a drug that you can inject that makes you self-aware of yourself
and happy with yourself. Because if you're not happy with yourself, nothing else is going to make you happy.
That's self-awareness. I'm going to put that under my I think, which is my greatest accomplishment, is just being self-aware of myself, like who I am, how I function. And it allowed me to really focus my minds towards just being positive as much as I possibly can. Of course, you're going to have those moments where shit happens and like it upsets you, it angers you, it makes you depressed. But constantly being grateful for what you have and aware of who you are and where you are, like, changes the game. And that kind of goes into number 4, is just keep your head positive. Like as a business owner, like, and I kind of do, like, I don't really post a lot of negative, like I've had a lot of crazy negative shit happen in my life. Like I don't bitch about it online. And part of it is like a lot of my friends look at my social media and it encourages them. They enjoy it. And I don't want to bring that negativity to that table. I just don't want to feed into it. Like I want to give them positive things to think about. I want to give them positive things to look at.
Luke, you are our people. You are our people. We love it.
Yeah. Thanks. Number 5 is like, don't listen to others. Like, stay true to what your dream is for your life, because they're not putting in the work for that dream. They don't have any skin in the table. And sometimes, like, you're going to like this because, like, Gary Vee talks about this all the time. Sometimes it is mom and dad. It's your best friend. It's your brother. It's your sister. And it's like, because they have this perception of what they want for you to do. You know, like, and it's funny because I resonate a lot with what Gary Vee says. Like, it's not that he's teaching me these new principles. It's almost like he's like,
he's making them mainstream almost. Like, he's bringing them to the people that need to hear them.
Right.
But new, like you said, like Dwayne Dwyer, like they all, he's this stuff, but he's making it hip again. You
can see that he started helping The Rock with his social media. Like, I can tell when a celebrity has been talking to Gary Vee, even though they're not announcing it, because their social media goes from, like, they had like 1 million followers just because they're The Rock. But then all of a sudden, like, he's making videos.
He does so many videos with his daughter.
Like, he absolutely had a consultation with Gary Vee.
Yeah.
Like,
he sings all the Moana songs with his daughter. And I'm like, when did this start happening? And I don't even follow The Rock.
Right. And part of what Gary Vee says is listen to all of the criticism, but at the same time, don't listen to it. So like, listen to and don't get caught up on those trolls online saying this video sucks. Like
Joel had to learn that. Don't respond. Like, just either block them.
I'll respond and be like, hey man, thanks. I hope you're having a great day.
Oh, probably kill him with kindness,
dude.
Yeah,
that's kind of fun.
Your last two, 4 and 5. Joey had this. Whenever he was around the club, and I was at one of our shows. One of the she's like one of our biggest fans. She came up and was like, I like what you guys have done this. He changed our logo behind the comics on the brick border with the Christmas logo. He always would change the SoulJoel's Comedy Club and Lounge. And she goes, all right, I like what you've done here, but I think you need to have Christmas lights and what are you, an interior decorator? We didn't ask for any feedback. So just go sit down and enjoy the show. Like, but you can't say that. You got to be like, okay. Yeah, sure, are we done?
I'll let Joel know. Give him the feedback. Yeah. So, Luke, tell everybody one last time where they can find you if they're like, stuck, and they can be anywhere. Like, there's no geographic limitation to your business. Where can people find you if they want to like start ramping up with, their online presence, their search engine optimization, that kind of stuff?
I have people hit me up from the Netherlands and Europe all the time because my marketing for tattoo artists videos is like, if you type in Google marketing for like on the first thing for multiple videos.
We could be kind of Swedish. I mean, you have that look to you. That
Viking.
You have Viking. Get it?
Scandinavian.
But
there you go.
Yeah, redbeardedmarketing.com or Redbeard Marketing. It goes to the same website. That's my Instagram, Facebook. You can find me online. If you can't find me, you're not trying hard enough.
So one last question for you, and thank you for coming on. I think you talked about a lot of great stuff for people, like being themselves, being authentic. I love that tagline, and just enjoying the journey. Like, I think it's all really good tips. If you had a theme song, what would it be?
The People.
Maybe Walls by Emery.
Oh, I don't even know that one. I'm gonna Google that when we get off.
Do you like screaming? It's pretty brutal.
I like classic rock and old school hip hop. I mean, I was listening to Ice-T in the car this morning.
One of the lines is, "These knuckles break before they bleed."
Oh, this sounds very angry.
Yeah, kind of. It's like it pumps me up. It wakes me. It's my alarm. It's my alarm song. Like, I set like five alarms on my phone, and all of them are soft. And the Walls one, it literally comes in with, "Are you listening?" It's just a scream, like, "Are you listening?"
Sounds like a great way to wake up.
Yeah, it wakes me up it wakes me up all the time. So I don't know, it pumps me up. It's like I listen to like hard stuff when I work out. So like,
But that's you. I mean, that's you. That's Luke Eccles.
Yeah.
Hey Joel, real quick, last thing. Is Lindsay in your frame? I can't tell if she can reach the camera or not.
No, she's downstairs. That's hilarious.
Lindsay and I are the same height. I might even be shorter than Lindsay.
She's probably gonna message me like in a minute and be like, "You're an asshole."
Yeah, and Joel, we're never having Luke on again.
You shouldn't have told me your height. Like now you just opened the door.
Thanks for coming on, Luke.
Yeah, no problem.
No, this has been a lot of fun, buddy. I'll talk to you soon.
All right,
This
guys.
is
Have a great day.
EAF. I'm Deanna Kozak, also known as Joel's sister, Joel Richardson of SoulJoel's Comedy Club and Lounge, Luke Eccles of Red Beard Marking, and this has been Entrepreneurial AF. Thanks for listening, guys.
Thank you for tuning in to Entrepreneurs Fuck. To stay up to date on future shows, follow SoulJoel TV on Facebook and subscribe to our channel on YouTube. See you next time, and always remember, respect the hustle.